இப்போ
சார் ஓகேவா? ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாமா?
ஓகே சார். Sir, am I audible to you?
Sir, just a minute, just a minute, sir. Sir, please proceed.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Good morning, one and all. Myself, I am Alexander, working as an assistant engineer in the public Ghost department. Today, we are going to discuss about the topic of energy conservation. As Alvin know, energy conservation plays a vital role in economy as well as environmental protection. Thus, always it serves as a trending topic of discussion. Let's begin from the some of the basics we already well are aware of. What is energy? Energy is nothing but the ability to do work. Types of energy, there are several types. The kinetic energy is nothing but a energy in motion. Then potential energy, that is the energy stored that is in standstill. Then heat energy, energy in movement of atoms. Then mechanical energy, it is a sum of kinetic and potential energy. The light energy is nothing but a energy in photons. The magnetic energy, that is energy derived from the magnetic field. The electric energy is the energy in movement of charged particles such as electrons and protons. Chemical energy is the energy released by chemical reactions. The nuclear energy is the energy released by fusion of protons or neutrons. The laws of conservation of energy, as we all know, the total energy of a system remains constant, though energy may transform into another form. For example, when the balls are in motion, they have kinetic energy. If the same in stationary, that also have potential energy. So energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can change its forms and is also related to mass. The energy efficiency. It is the percentage of useful energy that is converted from another form. That is how efficient the conversion process takes place. Thus, efficient conversion process also plays a role in energy conservation to minimize the loss to maximize the energy usage. Electrical energy, the energy derived from the movement of charged particles. The source of electrical energy, there are two main sources. The first one is the renewable energy source. The power that is generated from natural resources that are constantly replenished, such as solar, wind, hydro, biomass, geothermal. They exist till the world end. The non-renewable energy source, the energy source that cannot restore itself over a short period of time, and it does diminish, such as fossil fuels, nuclears. The energy conservation from electrical perspective. The power saving become important nowadays, as we all well aware of the fact that most prominent source of electricity are fossil fuels getting depleted, and increase in the consumption of fossil fuel poses a major cause of environmental pollution. Ways of energy conservation. The energy conservation process involves efficient usage of electricity in the following areas. One, the domestic, then commercial spaces, industrial, and agriculture field. The general points, the efficient lighting. Lighting done basically using the lighting done using basic lux calculation rather than lavish lighting taken into account of the area of the room, purpose of use, and lumens record. For example, the lux calculation plays a major role to put a light in the room or in a buildings or whatever it's so. For example, for a 10 feet cross 10 feet room, for 100 square feet room, we need a we need only two LED tube lights are enough. But sometimes they, for lavishness, they use many number of lights that is not necessary, that is beyond the requirements. Replacing the conventional light fixtures into energy efficient fixtures such as electronic ballast, that is nothing but electronic choke, in the place of copper chokes, and even replacing electronic ballast light fixture into more efficient LED fixtures. The number of light fixture calculation. The number of light fixture can be calculated from the five factors. The first factor is the E, that is the lux record for the lux output of the room. It depends, it varies, depends upon the applications. For example, for a reading room, we need more brightness. For a corridor or for a lawn, we need a much smaller light is enough. So depending upon the requirement and utility, we can change the factors. It may be varied from 150 lux to 500 lux, depending upon the applications. Then area of the room, it may be calculated in the square meters. Then utilization factor, that is generally we use zero point 0.7 because we choose only the 70% of utilization we recur. Then the maintenance factor, that is also a constant, that is a 0.9. Then finally, that one is the F, that is lumen output from the light source. For example, for a 20 watt LED fitting, it gives a 2000 lumens. Let's see the example for a 10 feet room, that is a 3.3 meter length and 3.3 meter breadth. The 20 watts LED fixture delivers a 2000 lumens. The utilization factor, you know, that is a 0.7. The maintenance factor 0.9. For a reading room, we require 200 lakhs according to the building practice code. So according to the building practice code, for each building, there is standards derived for the applications. For a reading room, we need 200 lakhs. For corridors, we need only 150. For toilets, we need 100 lakhs is enough. For operations that are such a crucial area, we need 500 lakhs. So we can change the lakhs according to the application or according to the requirements. We can change. So for a 10 feet plus 10 feet, that is a 100 square meter room, we require only two numbers of LED fittings. Using thermal sensor based lighting arrangements, we can use the lightings effectively. Also, to consume the electrical energy for a G plus 2 story, that is a ground floor plus two-floor story buildings, we can use ramps instead of the escalators or lifts. Also, we can use programmable thermostats to, reduce the consumption of the electricity. Then designing the building with ample amount of natural lighting and ventilation. This is very important. Whenever we are going to build a house or build a building, we have to give natural lighting. We have to provide as much as possible natural lighting and natural ventilation. Then only we can reduce the power consumption. We can reduce the number of lights. We can reduce the number of fans. Then using energy efficient electric equipment with auto cutoff facility. Then for solar water heaters in the place of electrical water heaters, for a solar water heater, it consists of a collector and an insulated storage tank. There are types of three types based on the collector. First one is the batch collector type. Second one is the flat plate collector type. Third one is the evacuated tube collector type. This one is we are using normally in all the buildings. For solar water heater, evacuated tube collector type with closed loop circulation system or indirect system. Here, evacuated tube collector type is most efficient and prominently used type as it operates at even low temperature. Non-freezing liquid, that is a PG, propylene glycol, present in the storage tank circulates in the tube and act as a heat transfer medium. There is cold water inlet and hot water outlet in the storage tank. A block absorbing medium is located in the collector as block is a good conductor of heat. It absorbs more heat and deliver the heat transfer to the water. Using decentralized solar power plant in the available unshaded areas in the rooftop, car parking side of the office, college buildings, etc., thereby reducing the use of non-renewable source. On-grid solar system, generating electricity using solar power plant and feeding it back to the distribution system using net metering arrangements. The electricity bill is based on the net power, that is the power consumed from the system minus the power fed back from the solar plant. You can see from the picture the light from the solar sun absorbed by the solar panel. The solar panel converts the light energy, the photon, light energy into a electrical signal. The electrical power is converted into a grid connected inverter. Generally, the grid connected inverter is connected through the net meter to the EB and also to the house or to the building, whatever it is. So, in the on-grid system, the net meter calculates the energy consumption and the energy delivered from the solar panel, so it can reduce the cost of the electricity consumption. Then off-grid solar system. In this one, we are no need to connect the net metering system. Just we have to store the energy electricity from the solar panel to the UPS to the battery. The hybrid solar system, it comprises both the battery system and that is on off grid as well as net metering, that is on grid. So we can use battery and you can use the net metering, so you can get two benefits from these hybrid systems. The government of India, that is a Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, determines a benchmark cost of the grid connected rooftop solar for photovoltaic systems and off-grid systems for every financial year, along with subsidy for each category. So the cost of solar price is only determined by the Ministry of the New and Renewable Energy. It changes every year, every financial year it changes. The website is given MNRE website, so you can refer if you want to know more details about this. solar systems, and the price, cost, etc. And constructing micro hydel power plants in the hilly area with adequate water resources. In a hilly area, wherever the water source, the the current water current is more, that time you can use the such a micro hydel power plant. You can generate electricity. And have a HVAC system, the heating, ventilation, air conditioning. So the clean air vents can save up to 25% of energy, which could be utilized during pumping air into space. The properly sealed room helps the AC or heater compressor to use less power. For example, nowadays we know in our home, whenever we are using the air conditioner, that time if you can feel the difference. For example, if the door and windows are closed, then you can get chillness shortly. Yeah, if it is open, there is the no use. Only we can get the flow at the direction only. We cannot, the chillness will not be spread over the room. Okay, so the properly sealed rooms, that is very important for the usage of AC. If the room is not properly sealed, not closed, then there is no use for the usage of air conditioners. The shaded windows can be used for the prevention of heat waves where cooling is required. For example, in our house also we need the curtains for the windows. If you are using curtains, you may feel the cooling inside the room. Otherwise, if there is a direct sunlight, the heat waves it will rise up the temperature of the room. So the shaded windows can be used for the prevention of heat waves where cooling is required. This reduces the electricity required to maintain temperature by air conditioners. Maintaining the temperature of AC units at comfort air conditioning 20 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius. The 20 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius is the best option to put on. Otherwise, if you are using 80 degrees Celsius and covering with a blanket, there is a no use for that. Okay, in our during night times we can use we can use the AC temperatures at 24 degrees Celsius. That is the best, instead of using the low temperatures such as 18 degrees Celsius and covering with the blanket tightly. Selecting suitable refrigerant systems, taking into consideration of area, purpose of usage, occupying capacity, using heat load calculation. Then VRF system. There is a variable refrigerant flow for centralized cooling system. For a centralized AC system, nowadays we prefer only this VRF system. The flow of refrigerant is varied according to the cooling requirement, thus reducing the power consumption. For example, for a room size of 10 feet to 10 feet, that is a 10 feet to 10 feet, 100 square feet room area, it requires only a single fan. According to the fan performa, it requires only one fan is enough. For that size, we need a 1 ton of AC, 1 ton of air conditioner. So the fan requires only 60 watt, but the AC requires consumes 1000 watts. So the better option for providing AC and fan in the room is you have to use not only AC, you can also put on the fans. If you put on the fan and the AC also set up at the 24 degrees Celsius, it consumes more energy, electricity energy. The maintaining power factor in the range of zero point 0.9 to 1 in the industries is a very important factor to conserve the energy, to preserve the energy. The inductive loads such as motors are widely used. In that one, the power factor is getting reduced below zero point 0.9. If it reduced below zero point 0.9, then the TNEB levy charges for penal charges, because the if whenever the power factor is getting reduced, that means the loss is more. So to avoid that, we have to maintain the power factor above zero point 0.9. The power factor is the ratio of amount of power utilized for doing useful work and to the amount of power supplied. In simple terms, ratio of real power and apparent power, whereas apparent power is the combination of real and reactive power. Power factor is inversely proportional to the reactive power, but unfortunately, the industrial loads consumes more reactive power. Thus, the electricity bill is increased, and to protect the and supply, electricity board levy penalties for the consumer with a lower power factor. According to Tamil Nadu Electricity Regulatory Commission's Code and Regulations, refer page number 5 for this power factor uh, deviation and low power factor, how the charges are uh, levied for the consumers. The paying compensation for the power factor below the specified limit. For LT connections, it is up to 0.85 lag is okay, but for HT connection, we have to maintain above zero point 0.9 lag. Also, the rewarded incentive in case of maintaining power factor above the specified limits. Incentives and disincentives at such rates that the commissions may declare from time to time, it may vary. Power factor correction technique. So to overcome the power factor problem, because in the industries they use more motors, the motor is nothing but a inductive loads. If you are increasing the inducting loads, then the power factor will go down. So to compensate that, we need to install power factor correction techniques. The power factor correction technique is nothing but a simple capacitor banks. For a load connected load for less than 100 kilowatt, we can use a capacitive banks, that's a passive only. For beyond the 100 kilowatt, we can use active power factor correction techniques. In that one, we need the same capacitor bank, but with the switching techniques. It can automatically it can change the capacitors numbers. That is the capacitance value. The another one is the synchronous condenser. So synchronous condenser, here in many industries where the more number of motors are used, they use the synchronous motor as a capacitor to increase to compensate the power factor deviation. In APFC panel, let's see the APFC panel in the picture. The bottom it shows the capacitor bank. The capacitor banks are switched by the contactors, and the controller is provided in this one, because based on the controllers, based on the power factor, it may increase the capacitance value and reduce the capacitance value. So the energy conservation is the practice of reducing the consumption of energy and reducing the cost, and to preserve the limited existing resources of energy. We have seen some of the techniques which can be implemented of the effective conservation of energy prevailing at present. Government also has taken many initiatives to improve the energy conservation. The government of India, there is a Ministry of Power, set up a Bureau of Energy Efficiency, that is a BEE standards, in the year 2002 under the provision of the Energy Conservation Act 2001. So the primary objective of the bureau is to reduce the energy intensity of the Indian economy. It gives many guidelines to using guidelines to use star-rated fittings, star-rated electric installations to reduce the power consumption. For more reference, you can also refer the website of the BEE India. Thank you. Any questions from the audience?
So participants, if you have any clarifications. There are clarifications regarding conservation of energy and the effective utilization of energy. If you have any queries, you can raise your hand or you can ask themselves. At least anyone of you. No.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you for your
Thank you.
wonderful session, sir.
Thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity.
Now I request our Mr. Tirumugan to deliver what happened.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone.
Students for 20
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Department of PCE, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our resource person, Mr. S. Alexander, Assistant Engineer, Tamil Nadu Public Works Department, Thanjavur. The lectures was very useful to us in the aspect of saving electricity and effective utilization and electricity in our daily lives. Next, I express my thanks to our beloved principal, respected HOD and EC for giving moral support in organizing this kind of awareness talk. Also, I thank Mr. P. Pasupuri, Assistant Professor of Department of ECE, and Mr. J. Niranjan Samuel towards the effective organization of this program even. Finally, a special thanks to our CC, leader of ECE and students of ECE. Thank you, everyone.